Hello, welcome.
Wow.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you will go ahead and place your mics on mute, the microphone on mute at this time. But I want to definitely welcome you to our financial aid planning, to our LaGrange students. This is very important to hear this information about the FAFSA completion, because on October 4th, this is a Friday, we will begin the FAFSA application through all English classes. If you're an off-site senior, meaning TNI, Sewella, or McNeese, please come by the school starting at 12:30 on that day, and October 14th. Complete the FAFSA application. We'll get you started. The following day is a Saturday, October 15th. We will open up the school and assist all parents on October 15th from 10 o'clock a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m. A flyer will go home through student email, social media, and the school website as reminders. Remember, completing the FAFSA application is a graduation requirement. I'm also extending, I'm not sure if Ms. Washington Marion is going to start theirs by October 15th, but definitely parents are welcome to stop at LaGrange High School as well if they need assistance on that day. Ms. Woodard?
Hello. Thank you so much, Ms. Evans, for inviting Washington Marion to take part in your FAFSA completion workshop. Again, it's just as LaGrange, Washington Marion will also kick off our FAFSA event on October 4th, and we will host that event through the English classes October 4th, 5th, and 6th. And also our TNI students, if you are on the Zoom tonight, please do try to come and see me when you get back on campus so we can see about helping you get started on that application process. I will host several times throughout the month of October FAFSA application workshops during the day, but on October 25th, I will host a FAFSA night for those parents and students that need to come in after hours to get a little more assistance. And just like LaGrange invite, LaGrange students, you are also, parents and students, you are also welcome to come join us on October 25th here at Washington Marion that evening at 5:30 if you are in need of extra assistance. Other than that, I do ask parents if you could maybe go rename yourself and put your school in the text box so Miss Evans and I can kind of get a picture of what parents are present and to know exactly which school your student attends. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Well, what a what a great turnout. You all are going to have to forgive my scratchy throat. I feel great, but I'm a little bit under the weather, so thank goodness for virtual presentations. As your counselors just mentioned, please enter your name and your high school in the chat box so that they can get an idea of who attended this evening. I'm Ann Carmichael, and I'm presenting on behalf of Leela this afternoon. Now, you all know or should know by now that Louisiana Department of Education requires that students complete the FAFSA or meet other requirements before they can graduate. So if you have options, why would you complete FAFSA? And I'm going to give you some tips. FAFSA is your application for TOPS, Pell Grants, Work Study, the Louisiana Go Grant, federal student loans, and oftentimes private and institutional aid. I'm going to specifically talk about federal student aid this evening. It will include free money, borrowed money, and earned money. What's the free money? That is federal Pell Grants, and you can see the dollar amounts listed here as well as we go through. Federal Supplemental Education Opportunity Grant, the TEACH Grant, the Iraq and Afghanistan Service Grants. Your earned money is federal work study. These jobs are great. They're offered through the financial aid office. This is a FAFSA question. If you're interested in working while you're in school, please say yes on the FAFSA to federal work study. Then you come to your borrowed money, your direct subsidized, unsubsidized, and Parent Plus loans. But remember that you have many opportunities to earn grant money and work for those dollars before you borrow. And I'm going to ask you, Ms. Evans, if you can admit students and parents into the room as I present. I see that you've already picked that up, so thank you very much. Now, all of these monies can be used at four-year public and private colleges, at two-year colleges, community colleges, career and technical schools, for part-time and online college courses. Who can submit a FAFSA? Any U.S. citizen or eligible non-citizen, all U.S. nationals. Now, what is an eligible non-citizen? That is someone with a green card, an arrival departure record, someone with battered immigrant status, or those with a T visa. You are all eligible to complete the FAFSA. Now, what if you are falling into one of these categories, but your parents do not? You can still submit your FAFSA, but when you get to the parent demographic section, anytime they're asked for their social security number or document number, you will enter zeros. Now, it should only take 30 to 45 minutes to complete your FAFSA if you have all the documents required to complete the form. And those are going to include student and parents' social security cards, because your name has to be printed exactly as it is on the face of your most recent social security card. You'll need your 1040 IRS tax returns for the year 2021. That's for parents and the student if you filed. You will need your W-2s because there's information on these forms that might not be shown on the tax return itself. And then you'll need balances of your checking and savings accounts, any cash you have on hand, and assets. Which assets have to be reported to federal student aid? You must report the value of any rental properties that you own, trust, mutual market, money market funds and CDs, stocks, options, or bonds, any 529 college savings plans, or UTMA, UGMA accounts. Now, do not report the value of your primary place of residence, a family farm if you live on one or own one, any small businesses with 100 or fewer employees. Do not report the value of your life insurance, 401k plans, pension funds, annuities, or any non-education IRAs. And then have a list of the colleges that you're interested in applying to. Remember that it's fine to go ahead and get your FAFSA data sent over to your colleges, even if you haven't finished your admissions applications. But it's important to do that as well, because colleges most often will hold on to your FAFSA data until you've been admitted to their college. So make sure you're getting the list of schools that you want to report. You can add up to 10 colleges each time you submit the FAFSA. If you're planning to apply to more than 10 colleges, there are instructions on the college search page, and I'm here to help you as well. Now, there are deadlines associated with FAFSA submission. Each college should have a priority financial aid deadline. And remember that these monies are awarded on a first come, first served basis. So you want to get it done as quickly as possible. And I can see that LaGrange and Washington Marion High School is already going to hit the ground running. So everybody should have their FAFSAs completed Sounds like in October. There is a TOPS FAFSA deadline. Make sure you know what that is. I understand they've moved the TOPS FAFSA completion deadline up to the month of February. Check with your TOPS representative for that date. Then there are federal student aid deadlines as well. I understand that we'll talk just a moment at the end of the presentation about LaGrange and Washington Marion's financial aid deadline to meet that graduation requirement. Now, begin by creating your FSA ID. This is your electronic signature and will be used to sign your FAFSA. It will be used if you borrow a student loan to sign your master promissory note and for all federal student aid websites. Remember to keep it in a safe place, but remember that you do need this every year that you're going to go to college because you must complete a FAFSA for each academic year. Next, you will go to studentaid.gov to begin the FAFSA form itself. Here we are at the home page so that it will look familiar, and there are a wealth of resources on this page. So feel free to take a look around. As Ms. Evans mentioned, the FAFSA for your grade level will not open until October 1st, but you can go onto the website and take a look around. You can also go onto the website and create your federal student aid ID now, so you are ready to hit the ground running. Once you're in the FAFSA, you'll be asked to identify your role. Are you the student or the parent who wants to complete your portion of the FAFSA? And who is a preparer? A preparer is somebody that you would pay to do this for you, but this is the free application for federal student aid. And we know that you can do it with assistance from the resources that are provided to you in your district and the state of Louisiana. You will log in with your federal student aid continue and enter your personal identifiers. Enter the student's name, birth date, and social security number. Then your federal student aid ID. Now, as I mentioned, you all are the class of 2023. You, on October 1st, will see that there are two options. The 2022-23 FAFSA form is for students that are in college during this academic year. You will begin classes this coming fall. So you will want to begin the 23-24 FAFSA. You will be asked to create a save key, which is an additional layer of security. You will be asked to provide this save key again if you do not complete the FAFSA in one sitting. So make sure you're recording it. There are several steps that need to be taken before you can submit your FAFSA, and you can see them here. You must complete student demographics, school selection, dependency status, parent demographics, parent financials, student financials, and then it's time to sign and submit. So you can see here in the student demographics section, the student will identify himself, provide his personal email address, not your high school address, because you might not have access to that once you graduate. You'll be asked for your permanent home address. Are you a U.S. citizen? Are you a U.S. national or an eligible non-citizen? What state do you reside in? Will you be graduating with your high school diploma or with a GED? What college degree are you going to be working on? Your first bachelor's, an associate's degree, or just a certificate? Will you already have a first bachelor's by the 23-24 school year? And as high school seniors, you will not quite yet. Even if you're taking advanced placement courses, you all will state that you have never attended college and are in your first year on that college campus. Here's the work study question. These work study jobs are great for your first professional resume. So make sure that you are selecting yes for the work study option. It doesn't obligate you to accept a position, but it does let the financial aid office know that you're interested. Have you ever been in foster care? Are you in foster care now? This is important because there could be additional money available to help those students complete their college education. Why do they need to know what school parent 1 and parent 2 completed? Because if you're a first generation college graduate, you might be eligible for additional resources as well. Now you begin to enter your high school information. Make sure that this is correct and verified, because we want to make sure that your counselors receive word once you've completed your FAFSA. We'll then move on to the colleges that you're interested in. Remember that you can add up to 10 schools. Add those even if you haven't completed your admissions applications yet, and make it a variety of schools. Add 4-year colleges and 2-year colleges and perhaps some technical schools. You never know what you will decide to do by the time you graduate from high school. And you want to make sure that your money is ready and waiting for you once you get to that campus. Let them know what your housing plans are if you attend their school, so they know how to calculate your cost of attendance on their campus. Is the student single? Is he married? Does he have dependents that he financially supports? And then we move on to the dependency status section. This is important to determine whether or not you are dependent upon your parents and need to provide their information in your FAFSA, or if you're independent of them and you can skip over the parent section. So how will they determine that? You will be asked the following questions. Are you 24 or older by January 1st of 2023? Is the student married or separated, but not divorced? Is he working toward a master's or doctorate degree? Does the student have children who receive more than half of their support from him? Is he currently serving on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces? Is he a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces? Are both of his parents deceased? Is he an emancipated minor, or is he in legal guardianship as determined by the state of Louisiana? Now, you're going to find some legal and financial aid terms within the form, but I'm going to give you some tips on how to get descriptions of what they're asking for. And remember that legal guardianship is not the same as legal custody. So make sure you have your documentation with you before you start completing the form. And if you have questions, go to your counselor or contact me on the LELA FAFSA helpline, or you can contact Federal Student Aid directly. And the final question to determine your dependency status is, are you the student, an unaccompanied youth who is homeless, or who is at risk of being homeless? Now, if you can answer yes to one of those questions, you will be determined to be independent of your parents. All others must report your legal parents' demographic and financial information. But what if you're in a situation where you do not reside with those legal parents? Maybe you live with grandparents or other relatives, or perhaps a neighbor or friend. Those people should never provide information on your FAFSA unless they have legally adopted you. So if you find yourself in this situation, please reach out to somebody in the counselor's office or contact me directly, and I'm happy to help you navigate this. Now, if you are in legal guardianship, you're going to be considered independent, and you will put no parents or adults information in your FAFSA form itself. Next, you'll move on to the parent demographics. You see here that you will be asked, if you're identified as dependent, to provide parental information. Now, you can submit a FAFSA if you are in a situation where you don't live with your legal parents. But remember, once you submit that FAFSA without their information, it's your responsibility to contact the financial aid offices at those colleges to let them know about your situation. Because if you don't, they will only consider you for federal student loans. And we want everybody to be considered for the free money as well. You will be asked to provide information about your legal parents. So say you live with both of your legal or biological parents, then that's simple. You will add information about both of them. But if the parent that you've lived with the longest in the past 12 months is either married, separated, or is either divorced, separated, or has never been married, then you will only provide information about that legal parent. Unless that legal parent is now remarried, and then you want to provide information about your step parent as well. Because federal student aid wants to get an idea of the financial standing of the household that the student has lived in the longest in the 12 months prior to submitting the FAFSA. You will be asked to identify the marital status of your legal parent or parents. When were they married, or when were they separated or divorced? Provide their demographic information. Now, I want to say a word about the parent's email address in this section, because this comes up often. Please enter the email address of the parent who created the federal student aid ID, because that's the person who's going to sign your FAFSA. If you, let's say parent one created the FSA ID, but then you get to the end of the FAFSA form and you're ready to sign, and you provide the email address of the other parent, that parent's not going to be able to electronically sign. So make sure that all of this information matches the FSA IDs. Enter information about parent two. Provide information about their state of residence and any dependents they have in the household. And let federal student aid know if there are any other dependents of your parents that are in college already. You're going to next move on into the parent financial section, where you will be asked as the parent if you filed a tax return for 2021, what type it is, what your financial tax filing status was. And this is where you need to gather your copy of your federal return itself so that you can use the IRS data retrieval tool. This makes it a lot simpler and will be a lot more accurate. It's going to save time for you. And it's an option to provide the parent's FSA ID that you've previously created, identify which parent you are, and move over into the IRS site itself, where you will give them permission to gather your federal information from your tax return, drop it directly into the FAFSA. Now, in this section, you need to make sure that the name and address that you're printing, that you're typing within this data retrieval tool, is exactly what's printed on that 21 tax return. Even if you've moved or your tax preparer made a mistake when submitting your tax return, you must provide the information exactly as printed on the face of that tax return. Then you'll be asked if you want to transfer your information from the IRS. If you choose to do so, it will be dropped in the form. You will see that fields will show transferred from the IRS, but continue to look through the financial section because there are other fields that you may have to manually enter your information, such as if you filed a joint return, how much of your income was from parent one? How much came from parent two? This is where you're going to grab your W-2s and provide that information. You will be asked to provide additional financial information if it pertains to your situation, and untaxed income if you received any. And here is where you will report the asset as I previously provided. So you've completed the parent financial section. Next, you will be asked to provide information about the assets of the student. Did the student complete a tax return in 2021? You will grab that tax return and begin the process exactly as you did in the parent section. The student's also eligible to use the data retrieval tool if he filed a return and he chooses to do so. And all of the following questions will be exactly the same as those answered by the parent. So I won't go through every screenshot for that section. And then it's time to sign and submit. I'm going to encourage you to review your FAFSA summary. This summary is a list of every question you were asked on the FAFSA and your answer to it. This is your chance to make any corrections needed before you submit your FAFSA to the financial aid offices. You want to make sure that they have the most accurate data so that they can quickly process your financial aid offer. Now, a new feature this year is the demographic survey. You will be asked the following questions about yourself. You can answer them or you can decline to answer, but you must continue through the section. You will be asked to agree to the terms of this contract. This is a federal form, so you must agree that the information you provided is accurate to the best of your ability. And then you will be asked, using your FSA IDs, to provide the student signature and the parent electronic signature. Once you do, you will receive a FAFSA confirmation page. This is a very important step. You want to make sure that you're reading through all the information provided and that you're either printing or taking a screenshot of this pop-up. Now, you will receive an email from Federal Student Aid letting you know that you have successfully submitted your FAFSA, but this pop-up page tells you the next steps that you need to take. You know that within 3 to 5 business days that you will receive an email stating that you submitted your FAFSA. Your FAFSA information will then be sent on to your colleges listed within the FAFSA, and that you need to provide additional information to those schools if they need it. You will be provided with your expected family contribution. This is not a dollar amount. This is a formula that Federal Student Aid uses to send over to the financial aid offices. Federal Student Aid does not provide you with a financial aid offer. That is the job of each of the colleges that you have sent your FAFSA data to. You will see your estimated eligibility information. which could be a Pell Grant estimate, a student loan estimate. But remember that these are only estimates and that your college financial aid offices will provide you with the offer. You will see a list of schools that you have sent your FAFSA data to. You can always go back at a later date and add schools as well. Let's talk a minute about the financial aid offer. The college financial aid offices using your FAFSA data are going to determine their your cost of attendance on their campuses, identify any grants or scholarships they can offer you to attend their college, and they will determine your net price at their school. The net price is what you will be responsible for paying for that academic year on their campus. Once you do accept your final offer from your college and you've decided to accept their offer, you will accept it in this order. Grants and scholarships first, that's your free money. Federal work study next, that's earned and you don't have to repay it. And then last would be your student loans. I want to encourage you to continue your scholarship searches, because any money you earn through scholarship offers is going to greatly diminish your student loan debt. Where can you find scholarships? Number one is through your counselor's scholarship pages. So make sure you're checking with them throughout the year to see what they've heard about. Start with your local and regional scholarship opportunities, religious and community organizations or clubs that are related to your interests. Your state's higher education office, college or career school that you plan to attend. Any nonprofit organizations like LELA, local businesses or private companies. And once you have exhausted all your opportunities for funding for your education, we encourage you to check out LELA's education loan program. It is a nonprofit program, and it's for students only in the state of Louisiana. You can find out more about that at lelachoice.org. We have again published our FAFSA completion guide for the class of 2023. If you want an electronic copy of this guide, please email me directly and I'm happy to send it over to you, in addition to our parent guide for planning and paying for college and our senior checklist. These are all free resources for Louisiana high school students, and we're happy to send them to you. We have 2 scholarship opportunities again this year, a $1,000 FAFSA completion scholarship once you've submitted your FAFSA, and then our Choose Louisiana scholarship for those who plan to remain in Louisiana and attend a college here. If you would like to schedule an individual FAFSA completion scholarship with me, please feel free to do so by using this QR code that's shown here or on our free publications as well. If you want to begin your FAFSA and you just have a quick question, you need assistance, you can contact Federal Student Aid directly or call LELA's FAFSA helpline. You can also begin a dialogue with me at carmichael@lela.org. Now I'm going to encourage you to drop any questions that you might have about the process or about the FAFSA itself in our chat box, and I'll be happy to answer them. I'm going to go now to the chat box and see what questions we might have.
Can you go back to the QR code screen? Someone was trying to take a picture of that.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then your information where it has your email, so they can request the brochures from you.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go.
All right, I'm checking through the chat box. And I see that Miss Evans did mention, if you live with someone other than your parent or legal guardian, please see her, and she's happy to help you. And she's provided a great link to scholarships that she has heard about. And also I see that Ms. Woodard has provided you with scholarships. Your counselors are really the best first line to those scholarships. They are hearing from businesses, community organizations, the college admissions reps daily. So make sure that you get that information from them.
So the last question, why is there a requirement? What about students that aren't going to college or parents paying out of pocket? Well, this is the one, I think call it the one-stop shop, correct me if I'm wrong, but the one-stop shop where all grants, scholarships, student loans go through. But like she was saying earlier, you definitely want to take advantage of the grant offer and any scholarships offer that is offered to you. And this is the one form that it pushes out through. And you can elaborate on that, Ms. Carmichael.
That's right. And remember this too. A lot of colleges use the FAFSA to initiate the entire financial aid process. So say there are some institutional scholarships that are going to be awarded through the financial aid office, let's say at McNeese. If they don't receive your FAFSA, they don't know that you, in the financial aid office, they don't know that you are going to be attending their school and that you are interested in additional resources to help pay for college. So the FAFSA can initiate state aid, federal aid, institutional aid. Many scholarships require FAFSA completion. Leela's FAFSA completion scholarship requires that you complete it before you can apply. So although the FAFSA, although you may not use the federal dollars or the state dollars, there are a lot of monies out there that are initiated by submission of the FAFSA.
And it is a requirement as of 2016, it was written in law. So this is not a Calcasieu Parish requirement. This is a state of Louisiana requirement for our seniors to complete this application. And one of the comments were made by the legislatures was that our Louisiana students are leaving too much money on the table in the forms of scholarships and grants.
And Miss Evans, do you mind if I say something? This is
No,
Ms.
go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So hello everyone. My name is Melissa Vaughn. I am actually with the Louisiana Office for Student Financial Assistance, LOSFA. And I'm the regional coordinator here for Calcasieu Parish. So I always try to see if I can join in on things like this. And I love the question. The parent asked about why is it a requirement? Because kids aren't interested in college. That's what our role is. We want them to get interested, but even if it's not a 2-year or 4-year, there are still other options that they have available, the military as well. The thing about it is there's so much money, like Ms. Evans was saying. The best thing to do is to go ahead and fill out that FAFSA because their choices change and their interests change as well. And so you don't want to wait to do that and then come across an opportunity where you may miss out on something. So it's better to go ahead and take care of it while you have the chance, while you have the extra resources and the assistance. And that way, when they are presented with something else, they can already know that they've done that. So we want to make sure that they're interested in other options. Everybody is not a 4-year college student. We know that. And so that's the advantage of having all of the different types of funding that's available. But because it is a state requirement, there's so much money there. So if anybody has any questions about anything dealing with Louisiana TOPS or anything like that, you guys can contact me. I'll put my email in the chat, and then you can reach out to me individually as well. Thank y'all so much.
Great, thank you. Also, remember that students can change their minds. So, and that these monies are awarded on a first come, first served basis. So everybody wants to make sure that the student has submitted their application for admission, their application for financial aid, so that you, if you change your mind, can have that money available for you when you're ready to go on to college. Does anybody else have questions?
Sorry. One parent wants to know what, I lost it, hold on. So what if the graduates choose go to a school outside of Louisiana?
Well, this is a federal form, so it can be used at any college across the country that participates in the federal program.
There is another question where the parent asks if the FAFSA ID that was created for a student in previous years, can it be used for the student graduating this year?
That is a great question. If you, as the parent, has created an FSA ID, either for yourself, if you were a student, or for an older child, that ID will be used to sign everyone's FAFSA. But I'm going to encourage you, before you use it, go in and update your information. Make sure that all your email, mobile phone, address, everything is up to date before you use it to sign your students' FAFSAs.
All right, another question, if a student is not living with a parent or legal guardian, should they apply independent? But based on your answers to those questions, it will let you know if you're independent or dependent, correct?
That's right. You have to be able to answer one of those dependency status questions. So as you're going through them, make sure that you're understanding each of the questions. Now, as Ms. Evans mentioned, if you find yourself in a situation like that, don't panic. Go directly to her and she can help walk you through it, or you can contact me independently and I'm happy to help you with that. But remember that only your legal parents should provide information on your FAFSA form. If you cannot provide that information about your legal parents for some reason, then talk with one of us and we'll be happy to help you.
If you haven't at this time, can you please put your name and your school in a chat box so that Ms. Woodard and I can acknowledge you tomorrow at school? And let's see, even if the child is 40 years old adult and finally decides to go to college, will the parent income still be a determining factor in approval?
And like that first slide said in the dependency status section, will you be 24 or older as of January 23rd, as of January 1st, 2023. So if you're 40, that automatically identifies you as an independent student and no parental information will be requested. And if anybody wants a copy of this presentation, I'm happy to send it on to you. Just email me directly at the address listed here.
Are there any more questions?
Yes, where will this recording be posted at?
A recording of this session, I'd be happy to send that on to you. If you'll just jot down a request via email and I'll send it on to you. Now, Ms. Evans, Evans and Ms. Woodard, did you want to speak to the students about your district's FAFSA completion deadline?
As for completion, in order to be eligible for graduation, the deadline is May 5th. But we do not want to wait till May 5th because we know that TOPS, like I say, TOPS deadline is February 1st, that was stated. And if you have any eligibility toward that, we want to make sure that you have your application in by that date. So what we're going to do is try to have all our FAFSA completion before the Christmas holidays, before we leave for Christmas break, which be December 20th.
And here at Washington Marion, we push for December 1st as our deadline to complete our FAFSA applications. And also I have Washington Marion parent that I see asked, when will the application process begin? At Washington Marion, we will begin our FAFSA application workshops on October 4th. And then I will be putting out on our social media platforms and through Remind Parents the other dates that I plan to host those FAFSA completions, because I will do several throughout the month of October to try to provide everyone as many opportunities as possible to complete the application with assistance.
Now, remember that you can begin to create your federal student aid IDs right now. And parents who already have an ID, you need to go in and make sure that all your contact info is updated. But the actual 23-24 FAFSA, which is the requirement for graduation, opens on October 1st. And I want to say again, these monies are available on a first come, first served basis. Federal student aid distributes dollars around the country to colleges that participate. And those colleges began to award that money. So especially with your Pell Grants, the FSEOG, all that money is quickly being awarded. The sooner you complete your FAFSA, the closer you are at the head of the line. Those monies could be depleted. So make sure that you are getting your FAFSA done as soon as possible so you can be awarded all the money that you might be eligible for.
Are there any more questions? So thank you so much for coming out tonight. This is a great response that we've had from both Washington Marion and LaGrange parents. We are definitely here to assist you. Again, for the parents who are just coming on, LaGrange will open up and work with the applications on October 14th, Friday, through the English classes all day. And then on that Saturday, parents can come to school from 10 to 12 to complete their portions if they need assistance on October 15th. October 7th is the day that we've set aside at school to actually fill out college applications, no matter if it's 2-year, 4-year, ABC, cosmetology. So that will be our day to actually fill out applications for colleges, October 7th, and then the 14th, we'll begin the FAFSA.
Well, Calcasieu Parish is on fire because this is the best response, the best questions that I've been asked in quite a long time. And what wonderful counselors do you have there to assist you? So use all of these resources and let's get those FAFSAs submitted. I want to thank you all for inviting me to present and just let you know that I'm here to help you in any way.
Thank you, Ms. Carmichael. Again, we truly appreciate it. Again, thank you, parents and students, both Washington, Marion, and LaGrange. Ms. Woodard and I, we've been working together for years. So we just say this is our community and we love coming together. The more that we offer at the different schools, our student body can take advantage of either site. So thank you again, Ms. Woodard, Ms. Carmichael. Ms. Melissa, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it as well.
Yes, ma'am. It was a great presentation, Ms. Carmichael, and I'm excited that all the parents turned out. I'm excited to see you guys in a couple weeks. Well, the students anyway, this week and next week. So great job.
Thank you all so much, and we look forward to being there for everyone and being successful in completing all of this work that we got to do.
All right, everyone. Good night.
Good
Good night.
night.